Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Understanding the Badging Process session of this year's Aviation Business Summit. I am Shauna Larson, Deputy Aviation Director of Safety, Security, and Emergency Preparedness Programs here at Sky Harbor Airport. Safety and security are extremely serious at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, and the security badging process is the most important step you and your employees will take on your journey working at and with our airport. Currently, we have close to 20,000 badge holders who are our eyes and ears each day, and the see something, say something responsibilities begin the minute you and your employees receive your airport badges. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Paul Baruman and Camilla Kosova, who will go into more detail on what to expect with the TSA mandated airport badging process. They will also demonstrate how security and customer service go hand in hand at our airport. Rest assured, you are in good hands with Paul, Camilla, and the entire Sky Harbor badging team. Paul and Camilla, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Shauna. Quickly, I'm going to provide a quick overview, and I want to welcome everybody to our Understanding the Badging Process roundtable here discussion. I am Paul Baruman, Special Projects Administrator over Security, and I'm going to give a high level on what to expect and going forward. Quick background on why you have to have a badge at the airport. We get a lot of questions on why they have to have a badge. This came about in 2001, shortly after the September 11th attacks, when Congress passed the Aviation and Transportation Security Act. In doing so, Congress created the TSA and then required a fingerprint background check of personnel that needed or require unescorted access in either the SIDA or STEL area. It's a 10-year look back, and in that Security Act, they also outline what are the disqualifying criminal offenses. Then in 2004, Congress outlined the Security Threat Assessment for Aviation Workers. What that is additional checks related to intelligence databases, transnational crime, and immigration. And then later this year, in fact, March, TSA is requiring RAPAC. That's just an additional check in which all of our badge holders will be in the FBI criminal history vetting 24/7. For those of you who will be joining us as a new company, or those of you who are already badged at the airport bringing on a new company, the process starts with what we call a letter of verification. Your sponsoring company or the aviation division will provide a letter of verification to the Security and Badging Office. The letter will include the name of the company, the scope of work and the term of the contract, badge type and access required, name and contract info of the new company authorized signer or the point of contact for your company, and then the badging office will walk you through this process and schedule an authorized signer processing appointment. The authorized signer will undergo the exact same badging process that all of your applicants or company personnel will undergo as well. So keys to success of working with us in the badging office. First of all, we want to have a dedicated, not just additional duty, authorized signer, someone who is knowledgeable and educated on the process, the active and engaged with us and your company. We ask that you educate the applicants or your personnel on what to expect when they come to the badging office, and then regular communication with badge holders. So with that, we'll turn this over to Camilla, who will specifically talk about the badging process itself.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Camilla Kosova. I'm an Aviation Supervisor 3 in the Security Badging Office here at Sky Harbor Airport. Very happy you are joining us today. Thank you. So I will go over a badging process cycle, and as Paul mentioned, it all starts with authorized signer, conveniently abbreviated AS. So authorized signer is an entity who is responsible for badging, authorizing your employees. You will be authorizing your employees for badging process to go forward in Sky Harbor Airport. So the authorized signer submits application, which is an electronic application in our badging office SAFE. And then authorized signer will advise the applicant to schedule appointment via a software called QLS, which is very conveniently located on our website, or app can be downloaded. Applicant will have a selection to select from different dates and times to come into the badging office, and upon completion of this scheduled appointment, he or she will receive a text or email with a confirmation of the appointment. When the applicant comes into the badging office, what to expect is about 15, on average, it's a 15-minute processing time where we will collect pictures of the applicant, documents, and submit a security background check with FBI and TSA. It should not take more than 7 to 10 business days for a security clearance to come back. And when security clearance comes back, the authorized signer receives email notification stating he or she cleared and are okay to move forward with the badging process. And at that time, the authorized signer will be in contact with the applicant, still with the applicant, and advise him or her to complete non-secure trainings at home, which those non-secure trainings will be emailed to the applicant when they clear. Once they complete non-secure trainings off-site, at home, or in your offices, they will need to come into the badging office and complete secure training portions, which on average is between 1.5 to 2 hours in our office. Once they come and finish the training, the secure training in our office, they will need to bring a government picture ID. At that time, we will print their SIDA badge, and they will be allowed to work for you here at the airport and support your project. Next slide. Initial processing more in detail. So applicant's responsibility when they come here for the processing, and this is more of a detail, is they will need to bring 2 forms of IDs. 2 forms of IDs are equivalent to I-94, which is conveniently located on our website or can be provided by our badging office. Applicant will need to bring 2 forms of IDs, and the 2 forms of IDs will have to be original, unexpired. They should not be torn or worn, or they might be certified as well. But the key is that the 2 forms of IDs will have a 2 same names on them. In other words, if somebody got married, divorced, or legally changed their names, they should have a 2 forms of IDs on your new legal name. One government ID has to be a picture ID for identification purposes. In other words, if born in the United States, approved IDs would be driver's license or state ID, and second form of ID would be a social security card. Or applicant may use a born in the United States passport, unexpired and valid, and social security card. If they were born outside of the United States, authorization to work is required in the form of either visa, green card, authorization to work, and so forth. In addition to those, applicant will need a government picture ID such as driver's license or state ID. When in front of us, applicant must read, understand, and acknowledge all disqualifying crimes, which is a 36 crimes. TSA is looking at conviction days 10 years from today. As well, the applicant will be acknowledging understanding TSA Privacy Act and wrap bag notification, as Paul mentioned. They will be acknowledging screening notice, Social Security certification, and security responsibilities. All this acknowledgement is conveniently located on 2 pages on our tablets in front of them. The customer will just read that and sign it at the time in front of us, which takes about 2 minutes or so. With more initial processing in detail, our agents are required to verify before fingerprinting all personal information, including email. And that personal information will be entered by you, ladies and gentlemen, via the badging portal when you become authorized signers. And personal information is the first name, last name, middle name, aliases, their address, phone number, including email, identity documents. We already went over the documents. Authorization to work, depending on their citizenship status in the United States. The applicant reads and understands the handouts. And there are no disqualifying crime lists. which applicant claimed while in front of us. Our agents will scan the documents while the applicant is in front of us, and at the same time, we'll collect fingerprints from the applicant. As such, you can see on the pictures to your right. Once the fingerprints are collected, our agents will process a payment. Our initial processing fees are $39, and any fees are cost recovery. Once we collect the payments as well, we will print a temporary badge for 30 days. And what it means for you, ladies and gentlemen, that this applicant may be working for you where the badge is required on airport premises, but he or she will have to be under escort of somebody with escort privileges. But it's what really is really very nice is that this applicant may be working for you, can be working for you at the time of fingerprinting. We would like to share with you frequent processing challenges in our badging office and to ensure a smooth processing for you and your applicants when they come into the badging office. So frequently what's noticed that applicant comes into the badging office and schedules appointment and they are not pre-enrolled electronically in our badging system safe, or they are not renewed by the authorized signer. So it is very important that the authorized signers will pre-enroll or renew applicant and then advise the applicant or badge holder to schedule appointment via QLS to come into the badging office. Sometimes it happens that inaccurate data is reported in an application, and that slows down on the processing and the badging as well, because our agents will have to go in and correct appropriate information in. Sometimes when applicants do come in, they do present us with damaged, worn, expired, or copy of a document which are not accessible. As previously stated, all documents have to be originals or certified. They cannot be worn or torn, and they cannot be expired. Or time to time, applicant does come into the badging office only with one form of identification, such as driver's license. And as mentioned before, 2 forms of IDs are needed for processing on initial and renewal processing. Sometimes it happens that applicant does come in late to the badging office, but please note, we do understand that sometimes it's a traffic or that there is no, sometimes, applicant cannot locate us exactly where we are at. And we are very lenient in that sense. We would offer that applicant to actually join in our walk-in line. And that's actually the last one. The applicant gets lost or not familiar with the airport. And that brings me to one of our last slides, which is our map of our badging office. Our security badging office is conveniently located west of Terminal 3, as Paul is pointing out with his cursor. And applicants conveniently park in front of the badging office, which parking is limited, or park inside the parking garage to our west side, which is a West Economy parking garage. And here's, ladies and gentlemen, you can see security badging address, which is 3300 East Sky Harbor Boulevard, Phoenix 85034. Our phone number is 602-273-2036, which is answered during our business hours, Monday to Friday, 7 to 5 by our trusted agents. And here's our email, security.badging@phoenix.gov, where you're welcome to send and email us any question, any badging inquiries you might have. And all our badging process is also conveniently located at skyharbor.com/security. With that being said, I'd like to open it for any questions you might have, ladies and gentlemen.
I have a question. What would be considered a disqualifying crime?
So great question. So disqualifying crime list. So TSA does have a 36 disqualifying crime list. And let me actually, I do have most of them memorized, so actually I don't need to look at it. But a disqualifying crime list would be a felony of theft. If somebody committed a felony of theft and the conviction happened 10 years from today, from the day of fingerprinting, that would be considered disqualifier until the conviction day. It's outside of the 10 years period time. On the other hand, if somebody committed misdemeanor, pled guilty to misdemeanor of theft is not considered disqualifier, hence this person would get badged. One other disqualifiers would be Paul, would you like to chime in? What other are the most common disqualifiers?
Sure. Sale of prohibited drugs, that is very common to be seen here. That can be a misdemeanor or a felony if you're selling narcotics or such. I would also take an opportunity to advertise visiting our booth. We have posted the disqualifiers and other documents in our booth for easy access and able to download. It's also on our website.
Thank you for the question.
And the next question is, are there different levels of security clearances for badging?
I can take that one. No, everybody undergoes the same background check from TSA. There's two of them, as we noted. There is the security threat assessment and the 10-year look back on criminal history records check. It is one federally required background check for any badge holder, whether you're in the SIDA or the sterile area.
Okay, are there any other questions? This will be a last call for questions. Please type them in the chat. Is CPB badging above and beyond?
I'm sorry, CBP, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes,
CBP.
that is in addition to the SIDA badge and is a separate requirement depending on the operation.
Okay, that looks like all the questions we have. We did get a lot of thank yous for the presentation, so thank you for the presenters. Oh, sorry, we got one more. If you have been pre-approved for a badge with another firm previously, is the process easier?
Yes. So yes or no, it depends. I will take that one. So if a badge holder is currently badged and is joining a different company, it is badged under company A and it's joining company B, it's certainly easier because we can actually merge the records, what we called one person, one security clearance. So this person would get badged right away. We don't have to wait for the background check to come back. With that being said, if person left the company 30 days ago or badge expired, it's expired for over 30 days for company A, our security directive states that the security clearance is valid only 30 days from termination or badge separation. So what will happen in the case if customer is coming back under company B, we will have to run the background check again. So the person will be starting on the badging process as a new pre-enrollment. So there are the requirements where the security background check is valid for 30 days from badge expiration or termination. That's what our agents will look at when we have the applicant in front of us.
Okay, that looks like that was the last question. This session has ended. If you have any further questions, please email them to the email box that is in the chat, and we will pass them along to the presenters. Thank you.